Wait. Hold on a second. Before we get started, I should do a proper introduction since this is the first episode and you have no idea what's going on. My name is Grant Random. I am originally from Illinois. I now live in Brooklyn, and absolutely nobody cares. The important things that you should know are that I've been an idiot radio host for over 2 decades. Most of that has been on satellite radio. It was on one of my old stations that I served in the role of faux journalist, as I did a daily comedic newscast, with the stupid little jokes. And it's in that spirit that I've decided to launch this weekly newscast. I should point out that this is going to be politics-free, because, for fuck's sake. Also, it will ideally not feature news that pisses you off or bums you out. Now, if you are pissed or bummed after listening to this, it's because it wasn't as funny as you were hoping. And to that I say, please keep your expectations low, not only in regards to this audio presentation, but life in general. Okay, back to the podcast. On this inaugural episode of Grant Random Reports the News, I guess we'll call it episode 1, whatever, we'll tell you about public shitting, sex robots, and extremely unusual genitals. These and other important stories are coming your way next. Don't go anywhere. And please subscribe and leave a nice review while you're at it. Don't be a dick about this. Reporting from our global headquarters in subterranean Brooklyn, see also windowless basement. I'm Grant Random, and this is the news. With the cold weather descending on much of North America, families are flocking to Disneyland and Disney World. While the theme parks are typically crowded this time of year, the lines seem to be longer than usual. According to the New York Post, various people on social media are reporting that they've witnessed parkgoers defecate while waiting in line so that they didn't lose their place. Not only are people openly dropping deuces, they're also not offering the common courtesy of disposing of their feces or, at the very least, kicking their stool to the side. While many visitors say they are disgusted by these vile acts, some longtime patrons who've witnessed the public shits are saying it's the most exciting thing to happen at Disney in years. A shocking poll has revealed that 31% of people in Great Britain who were surveyed admit to wanting to have intercourse with a sex robot. Not surprisingly, that 31% of respondents were also early adopters when it came to virtual reality porn, teledildonics, and asking Siri if she's down to bang. A new species of beetle has been discovered that has genitalia that's shaped like a bottle opener, suggesting that my genitals are even more worthless than previously thought. After a car was pulled over for an obstructed license plate in southern Indiana, one of the passengers was discovered to have a bag of narcotics in his sock. When searched more extensively at the police station, 32-year-old Christopher Boyd was discovered to have a pistol stashed in his rectum. Whether he knows it or not, Boyd becomes yet another brave pioneer, helping society understand exactly what it is that we can stuff into our assholes. We salute Boyd for his contributions to this exciting field and wish him the very best in prison, which he will thankfully be entering loose. A new study has looked into the binge drinking habits of Americans. Focusing for the moment specifically on the state of Illinois, the study shows that the Kankakee metropolitan area is number 1 for binge drinking in the land of Lincoln, with 17.2% of adults there stating that they drink excessively. This checks out as Kankakee was previously declared the worst city in the United States. It's yet another badge of shame for this once proud community and adds to its embarrassment for having spawned the host of this podcast. A video has emerged of a worker at a Chinese beer factory pissing into a vat of beer. A statement released by the Tsingtao Brewery says that the company is looking into the video and vows to punish the employee for revealing one of their beer's secret ingredients. A new study suggests that soaking in a hot tub has the same cardiovascular and mental health benefits as a 30-minute jog. The risks remain very different, however, as the potential downsides of running include plantar fasciitis, while the drawbacks to hot tubs include frequent encounters with freshly squeezed clumps of ejaculate. A man in Arkansas was arrested after police discovered him having sex with a stuffed animal in a vehicle parked outside a commercial storage facility. In defense of 55-year-old Theodore Margovan, today's stuffed animals are ridiculously soft and typically feature several inviting orifices. In the future, Ted would be wise to make love to stuffed animals in the privacy of the supply closet at work like the rest of us. A secret room that was decorated by Michelangelo is now open to the public in Italy. The space is tiny and is located beneath the Medici chapels in Florence. While it's not known what purpose the room served, our analysis suggests it has all the hallmarks of masturbatoriums from the era, with familiar features such as a grip rail, completion trough, and a buddy seat. Turning to entertainment, Tool bassist Justin Chancellor says the band has a lot of song ideas and may enter the studio in 2024. Based on the band's track record for completing new music, you can expect to see Tool's next album released around the time the sun explodes. To the science people, I know that the sun is not going to explode when it dies. It's better for the joke, okay? And by the way, I included this story for the people who listen to the old newscast, where I joyfully ran this Tool bit into the ground. I will not be doing that on this podcast. Or will I? The band Kiss played their final show recently at Madison Square Garden here in New York City. While some people believe this was actually the end of Kiss, the band premiered digital avatars of themselves and vowed to, quote, rock forever. After the conclusion of the show, the avatar version of Gene Simmons immediately fired the avatars of Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer, then announced a new line of avatar merch before declaring that non-avatar rock music is dead, stating that the human members of Kiss are old, fat, and irrelevant. I gotta say, these avatars are incredibly realistic. This podcast is being brought to you by Phil. Okay, so we don't have any real sponsors right now because it's the first episode, for shit's sake. But hopefully we will, but we need to prove that there are people listening. I mean, you're listening, and I appreciate that. Be sure to be subscribed to the podcast so that you can keep listening. Even if you're not so sure, just do it. Also, follow me on social media. It's Grant Random on the various platforms. You can also find us at Grant Random Reports the News. And if you would, please spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the elderly person who pays you to cuddle. Tell everybody. And then hopefully we can generate some revenue, which will give me a plan B when I'm inevitably replaced by AI in my day job. So thank you in advance for doing all of that, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. And get 20% off when you use the code CLOWNPUBES. A funeral home worker in Nebraska was arrested after allegedly having sex with a dead man's sex doll. 41-year-old Ryan Smith was tasked with picking up the corpse from the residence of the deceased when he attempted to take the sex doll belonging to the stiff, telling the property manager that the sheriff told him to remove the sex doll in order to collect swabs for biopsy. The landlord denied the request and discovered the funeral home worker later in the day exiting the dead guy's residence with his shirt untucked and his pants in disarray. The cops were called, Smith was arrested, and a subsequent investigation determined that he most definitely, allegedly, banged the dead guy's sex doll. Several important questions about this case do remain. Was the dead guy having sex with the sex doll when he died? Did the thought that the dead guy died while inside the sex doll make the doll irresistible to the funeral home worker Smith? Why was the landlord sniffing around the dead guy's place later in the day when he discovered Smith? Was he interested in taking the sex doll for a spin himself? Also, where is the sex doll now, and is it available for purchase? These are the questions that the public desperately wants answers to, and it's our promise to you that we will never rest until we get the answers you deserve. It's also important to point out that this could have been much worse, and the fact that the cadaver was not sexually abused by Smith is a victory for us all. It's the belief of this newscast that the fact the funeral home worker Smith didn't bang the dead guy makes him a hero. He's not the hero we deserve or need right now, and certainly not one we can trust being alone with our recently purchased real doll Yasmin, but he's a hero nonetheless. Finally, the popular men's blog Art of Manliness has created a list of the top 5 alternatives to duct tape. Those are as follows: Velcro straps, spray-on adhesive, fiber fix repair wrap, zip ties, and mastic, whatever the fuck that is. Noticeably absent from this list is the suggestion to not go through with the abduction. I really appreciate that you made it this far into the first ever episode of Grant Random Reports the News. Be sure to follow me if you haven't, Grant Random, on social media. Also, you can follow Grant Random Reports the News. And please subscribe if you haven't and leave a nice review. And once again, I thank you for allowing me to provide you with the news that you can't get from those dicks at the Today Show.